So hello everyone, welcome to Football Mania. We're gonna preview the game week 13 of the Premier League. So Pranay, let's start with you. I mean, your Chelsea finally lost the game after what was it, 17 games unbeaten.
Yes, correct.
You can take it away with that.
Mm. Yeah, so the defeat was not seen, not expected given the recent results, and we didn't play well. We were missing our creative members in mostly Ziyech and also Christian Pulisic, but there was no movement from the front line, and there was not much coordination. And Giroud had an off game, Werner had an off game, and Kai Havertz has spoke about him earlier also. He's still not yet adapted, and Reece James was only the best player who really was working hard and trying to get the equalizer. He was constantly having to go forward because Havertz wasn't doing much, and then he had to track back also. So it was a tough game for Reece James also. But luckily, our contenders also dropped points, so we are not. The pain is diluted, as I said, and looking forward to the trip to Wolves.
Yeah, I mean, Wolves
Now,
are, I think, coming into this one with two losses in a row. So are you optimistic about that?
yeah, I'm optimistic, and see, Jimenez is obviously out with that injury. Joao Moutinho picked up a red card, so he won't be available. Two key players in Wolves' recent success are out, so we can capitalize on that one. And we are also hearing good news that Pulisic might be back for this match. He's training again. Hopefully, doesn't injure his hamstring
Mhm.
again. That keeps happening all the time. And we have positive memories also. We won here 5-2 last season.
Yeah. So, by the way, any thoughts on the Champions League draw? We got Atletico Madrid now.
It's a tough draw because Atletico Madrid are a good, solid, disciplined team. They don't give away many chances. Our creative players need to be at their best game, at the top of their game, to get anything from this tie. That's what I feel.
So, what are you going for the Wolves game? What score prediction?
I'm gonna go for a 2-0 win this time, hopefully.
Okay. By the way, I want to ask you one thing. Like Lampard said in the post-game interview, like you guys are not yet ready for the title challenge. Do you agree with that? What he said?
Yes, I agree with that. Told you after the Leeds game also that not yet, we are not there yet. And what Lampard said was correct, right? He said in the past 2-3 seasons, the title winners have had like strikers or wingers who could score
Yeah.
in excess of 30 goals per season. Despite our signings, despite the 250 million we spent this summer, we still find ourselves lacking a striker who can score, consistently 25 to 30 goals per season. So I agree with Lampard. We are still off the competition in terms of the title.
Alright. By the way, did you watch the Arsenal game? Because Anuj is not here today, so I might have to go with you guys in the Arsenal one.
No, I didn't watch, but I definitely watched the highlights.
Okay. By the way, what do you make of Arteta? Do you want him gone, or do you see a progress in him still?
Arteta actually is in a spot of bother. Actually, his team selection is not quite is a bit questionable according to me, and his players aren't motivated. They don't seem motivated enough to go out and play for the club, for the jersey.
Mhm.
And particularly what Granit Xhaka did was pretty embarrassing. It's not what you come to expect from a big six team. Plus, Aubameyang also unfortunately scored an own goal.
Finally broke his streak.
Yes, he did.
So, Abhishek, did you watch the Arsenal game?
I caught the highlights as well, and I was very very sorry to see how they just they just gave away things, and I saw them. They were creating a lot of chances,
Yeah.
but they again they do not have a striker who can score 25 goals a season. Or maybe Aubameyang is that person, but it always feels weird for him to come from the left hand side, and they have Lacazette who is a striker, but he just can't seem to be scoring at all. I mean, that's not a number 9 you would want to have in your side. So I caught the highlights and I was very. It was the same sort of old Arsenal story that the strikers are not scoring, and despite that, Mesut Ozil is still not being in the reckoning for starting games. So the main problem I think is their creative side of things, which they. I mean, yesterday the last match they created chances,
Yeah.
but they need to convert, and I don't know who will convert if not Aubameyang in that team. I just don't know.
I mean, they'll be facing Southampton in this week, so uh, I mean, they are in a really great form, Southampton. I'm not any optimistic going into that game. What do you guys see into that?
Yeah, that is that's a good side. They're facing a high on confidence, and
Yeah,
Ralph Hasenhüttl has done an amazing job. We all know that, and it's at home, so. The last match was at home as well, and it was their fourth consecutive home loss.
yeah, yeah,
And I think they have not scored a single goal in that period as well.
yeah,
So
No, they
it
scored
was
against
very
Wolves.
tough times. And
yeah, yeah. From a header.
okay, they scored again goal.
Yeah,
So, but then four consecutive home losses. That's not something you look forward to. And that old story of they doing well in Europe and then not then a very different emotion at the weekend. So I don't know how you must be feeling,
yeah.
Kashyap.
I'm really not looking forward to it. Thinking of switching to cricket, by the way. I mean, I think we are sitting 15th or 16th in
Oh,
the table.
15th, I think.
15, like 3,
15.
4. We lost to Burnley. Like in Burnley, were like
But
they didn't have a win this season, right? If I'm not.
No, I think they
but then
have
I
one week.
Oh, okay.
so but the only reason I want to ask you this thing is uh, if they win Europa League, would it matter if Arsenal just avoid relegation and still would you still keep uh, Arteta at the job? If you win Europa League and you have a very horrendous league run, would
I
you
mean,
still keep?
I think he has to do something about the Premier League because it just seems like a free fall right now. I think we
Yeah.
haven't won a game in 43 days, so he has to do something about the Premier League. I don't know. I don't think they will keep him if he finishes in the just above relegation zone. And even
The
Europa
present
League. Yeah,
the
sorry.
present target would surely be to match the last season's points tally. I would say.
Yeah, I think it would also be Champions League qualification. I think financially it would do a lot of damage to if I
Lot of
think that
damage.
would
Yeah.
be a fifth season in this Europa League. So I think it won't be because we are already signing players
And
on.
Europe
Yeah, yeah,
and Europa is no. I mean, there are tough teams anyways in Europa
yeah, yeah.
this time around.
Yeah, even we got Benfica for
Hmm.
the
Oh, Benfica. Oh,
and
okay.
United got Real Sociedad. If I'm not.
Real
Yes.
Sociedad. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's a tough one actually. Real Sociedad.
I mean,
David Silva
yeah.
against Manchester
Yeah.
United.
I don't know like if you guys followed Arsenal that much, but I think in a post lockdown he switched to like three at the back and like Aubameyang on the left and Tierney like bombing
Yes.
forward. I think that really worked.
Yes.
I don't know why he isn't going back to
He's
that.
not trying that. Yeah,
Yeah,
that system where Kieran Tierney was playing left wing back, that
yeah,
worked a charm.
yeah,
That worked a charm, and they had Granit Xhaka who was playing onto the left hand side of centre backs as
mm.
well.
Yeah. He drops
That
back.
he dropped back, and that was working. That was working. I still don't know why he changed the system to. Kieran Tierney is a brilliant left back, by the way. I am so impressed by him.
Yeah,
He has done a lot and in different roles as well. Left wing back in a five, uh, left-sided fullback, sometimes left centre back as well. So he's done a great job.
I mean, Pranay, do you see any tactical changes he should make for the Southampton game? Their CVs are really slow. I think even we did it over like a long ball last season and we scored one. Do you see any
Ye-
tactical changes he should?
I think you should. I think more than tactical, it needs to be like man managing for Arteta because the players don't seem to have any confidence. And for example, Lacazette, you can see he missed, I think, one or two half chances against Burnley.
Yeah.
He's lacking confidence at the moment. and tactically, I'm not sure. I don't know how Arteta is playing at the moment, and what changes are there which are needed. I think, as you said, going to a back three could be the way, and we'll have to take it from there. But what I personally feel is that Aubameyang should play through the middle. That's it. That's the only thing which I would change.
Would you still start Willian though?
No, I think I would go with Nicola Pepe because I see potential in that lad. But I think is he back from? He might be back from
Yeah,
suspension this week.
Burnley was the last of his suspension.
Yeah, so
I would
I
play
think.
Sakho as well.
Sorry,
I would play Sakho as well.
Saka.
Saka, yeah.
Sakho.
Mhm.
And Nicholas.
Kashyap, just correct me if I'm wrong. In when Arteta used to play back three, wasn't Tierney the one who was playing as the left-sided centre back?
Yeah, I think, but he was the one. But usually, what happened, like Maitland-Niles used to drop back sometimes in the defense too. So like there was really, it wasn't always like
Okay,
he used to bomb forward too.
because I think Saka can play
Yeah,
as the left wing back,
yeah.
and Kieran Tierney can come in as a left centre back. And who, according to you, has been
That can
like
work.
not, I won't say, with respect to Arsenal season, the best centre back right now?
Gabriel, I mean, he has won like a three
Only,
Player of the Month award. I mean, that's the only positive in his season currently.
yes,
Have you guys seen him?
yes, I've not seen him play
I've not
much, but
personally followed him.
Okay. Yeah, he really looks good. I mean, that and that Saliba situation too. I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware. We signed this William Saliba guy.
yes, I heard
Yeah,
his name.
Saliba.
I
What?
heard he's
I mean, yeah, like fans were telling like he's the Mbappe of CBs. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but I mean, he's still not playing. He's still playing for the under 21s, and he used to play with Wesley Fofana. The Leicester guy is really pressing, and but we haven't registered him from Premier League or Europa League. So that
that's kind of strange
But
given the
Holding also
situation
seems
you
to
are
be
in.
getting the nod. Also.
yeah, I don't understand that. So I think let's move on to the derby. Did you guys watch the derby?
I would want to forget that derby actually.
I thankfully did not watch it.
That's a disgrace, man. I think one clear chance the whole game, that Mahrez chance which he missed.
Mahrez, and I think on the follow-up, De Bruyne also had a chance. It came to
Yeah.
him a bit quickly, so he couldn't react. But I think De Bruyne is one kind of player who is kind of not in his peak form at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, in this 4-2-3-1 system which Guardiola is employing these days, and we know De Bruyne is playing higher than his usual position in that new formation. So the onus is on him to grab a little more goals than what he's doing at the moment.
But I
Yeah.
think both managers were also wary of the fact that they couldn't lose the match, and then
Yeah.
they just ended up stalemating each other.
Yes, this is a theme we are seeing in most of the big six clashes, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean,
In
Manu,
the Chelsea.
Chelsea, Everton. Even the Manu Arsenal game was heading this way until Aubameyang scored that penalty.
Hmm.
Chelsea Tottenham comes to mind.
Yes, I think they are playing West Brom this week. I mean that's a
Yes,
question about how many
Manchester
goals
City.
they'll score. Is Aguero back for that one? Does anyone?
I don't know. He played midweek last week in the Champions League, scored also, but he wasn't in the squad altogether against Man United.
Hmm.
So I don't know what exactly is up with him.
Abhishek, what about any fixtures you are looking forward to? Then I think we are left with Sheffield United, Manchester United, and the big one obviously Liverpool.
Yes, the big
I
one.
am Liverpool versus who is it this time?
Liverpool's
I
playing
I,
Tottenham.
I just haven't checked it. That's some match I'm
That's going to be a
looking
big
forward
one,
to.
yeah.
That's that's going to be a good test of how Marino is setting up his defense because Liverpool will go all out in attack and they'll have those players that he uh, what Salah, Mane, and Firmino. I think he tried to keep it simple and try to not change too many things. Uh, Spurs, on the other hand, would be looking for that Kane Son connection as always, and
Hmm. I mean, both the
uh,
teams, I think, coming
I
into this
would
with
like
a
to see Bale
yeah,
coming on to maybe somehow do some damage,
yeah.
but again, we don't know how much he is reliant upon. Mourinho is relying on Bale so far. He's only been featured in the Europa League, so I would really like to see how Gareth Bale comes up to his level and if he can show that how he was so dominant when at his peak he was. So
I mean,
I
I
would
think,
like to see that.
yeah, Pranay, both the teams are like coming into this one with a draw, right? Liverpool drew to Fulham, man. That's a shock. And
That's a
they should have
shock.
been, yeah. Did you watch the Fulham game? Fulham Liverpool.
I just saw the highlights, and from the first half, it was clear that Fulham were the better team and probably deserved based on the first half, you could say they deserved to win. But I think the point was the least Fulham deserved from that match. And Liverpool just didn't turn up in the first half. They gave away so many chances. And this is the concern, at least away from home, Liverpool are not performing up to their standards. On the contrary, their form at Anfield is imperious, to say the least.
Yeah.
But it was thankful that the chances that were conceded by Liverpool, they all fell to Ivan Cavallero, whose finishing is very patchy, to say the very least, for Fulham. So I've seen a couple of Fulham matches when Cavallero has had and he's grabbed and snatched at the chances. So it was thankful for them, Liverpool. I mean, so Fulham couldn't take. Yes, and I would agree that Fulham deserved at least 1 point from that game because of all the chances that they created.
I
Yeah.
think they even got a penalty shout wrong by the ref. Like it was a
Yes, I was
clear
gonna
yeah.
come to that. What I felt was that I thought it's a clear penalty when I looked at the replay, but I think who was it? Was it Reed or was it Cavaliero who was fouled?
I think it was Reed. I don't know.
The-
So I think he slipped because the surface was very slippery, and then Fabinho's challenge came in.
Yeah.
That's what I think has happened, because otherwise there's no reason for it to not be given a penalty.
I mean, like, do you guys think like this fixture is like the current two best teams in the Premier League? I mean, they both are on 25 teams. I know like Leicester are on 24, but they have been really up and down.
I think
I would say
yes,
so.
this will be a big test actually for Liverpool, because we know Jurgen Klopp likes to play a high line,
Yeah.
and we also saw Matip being subbed off with injury. So, and Henderson was playing as centre back, which I'm not too convinced of against Spurs.
Yeah.
Let's see who he plays from the start. But if they play that high line as they like to do, they could be ripped off by Spurs the way Aston Villa did, because we know how devastating Spurs are on the counter attack.
I mean, they just need one chance, dude. They Abhishek.
Yeah, I would say Tottenham and Liverpool have been they have been using a makeshift back four with Fabinho in the middle. So Fabinho is not a natural centre back, even though he's been good at that position. But anything on the break and Kane, winning that aerial duel, and Spurs would be on their way clear. I feel that's a very pattern sort of attack to them that Tottenham have. They have it's a very simple but yet so it works. It's a very simple. It's almost like Burnley. It's how they set up and the long ball to the center forward and then he flicks off the header to one of the wide players. And that that is something that can hurt Liverpool. and I want to see how they cope up with that. And Van Dijk being out, so this is going to be tough because without Van Dijk, I don't know. Kane is probably the best natural center forward in the league right now,
Yeah.
so that that should be a big test for Liverpool's centre half.
I mean, as an Arsenal fan, I hope this one goes to Liverpool. Like, but what do you guys think?
It's
I
hard
would
to
say,
say. Yes,
yeah,
please.
Pranay.
Sorry.
I would say it's marginally into Tottenham's favor. I will go 2-1.
Sorry to Kashyap because I'm also going for I'm rooting for Spurs in this one, and that's got nothing to do with the league
Yeah.
table or league form this season. I just want Liverpool's, this run at Anfield, unbeaten run at Anfield to get over because they are closing
Yeah,
in on Chelsea's record.
What's that? What's the
right.
record?
Chelsea from 2004 till 2008 or 2009, they went 86 matches unbeaten in the Premier
Oh.
League. And
That's some
ironically,
record.
it was Liverpool who ended that record, who ended that run.
And how many games Liverpool are on right now?
No, I don't know exactly, but they are somewhere between 65 and 70.
Oh.
That's that's a very good record to have. That home run.
Home runs
Yeah,
are key actually in all the great title winning sides. You can see their home grounds become fortresses. Like Old Trafford
fortresses.
used to be a fortress, Stamford Bridge
Yeah,
was a fortress, and even the Etihad was a fortress. But and currently it's the Anfield.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think we will be closing with like Sheffield United, Manchester United. I mean, I don't think Sheffield has even won a game till now. Yeah,
Yes, they haven't.
still on 1 point. And do you see a point for Sheffield there?
Uh and well, no, I don't see them getting out of that rut anytime soon. It's just a sorry thing to.
Is it at Old Trafford or is it at Bramall Lane,
I think it's
the
yeah,
match?
Bramall Lane, Bramall
Yeah, then Sheffield don't have a chance.
Lane. But do they have fans back? Because some cities don't have, right?
I don't think they have because they are from that part where Leeds are also, I
Oh
think,
yeah,
and
yeah,
Leeds don't have fans yet,
yeah.
so I don't think they have.
I mean, it's weird with Sheffield
Leicester.
United. They seem like they will qualify for Champions League like it's in the first half of last season, but they haven't won a
Yeah,
game till now.
Yeah, they conceded just 39 goals last campaign, which is the best of any promoted side in the Premier League. But this season, their defense is not doing well. I think Jack O'Connell is missing from the team, and his absence is really hurting them. And going forward, they weren't really a dangerous, a threatening
yeah,
side going forward, were they last season also. But yet, the likes of McBurney and Norwood, their strikers,
Yeah.
McGoldrick didn't score many goals last season either, so that's okay. And John Lundstrom also seems to be, I don't know, he's even not even playing.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
I mean, I think the teams have even figured out all those overlapping center
Center
backs.
backs,
Yeah,
like possible.
yeah.
And also the second season syndrome, which
yeah, that's right.
many promoted teams struggle with.
So you guys see,
Uh,
yeah, sorry.
Leicester City's match against Everton, that could be
Yeah, that's
that
a
could be
good
a
one.
good match.
Yeah,
And Everton started the season very bright, and their system of a 4-3-3 is was a classic 4-3-3 system with a holding midfielder in Alan who's been good, but then lately they have struggled with losses, and they the striker, what's his name again? I keep
Calvert
Albert
forgetting.
Lewin.
Lewin.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin, yeah, and he was also good in his start, and he got 10 or 9 goals very quickly, but then he just faded away so far. So Leicester, I was correct about them having easy at Brighton. They won 3-0 again. So
I mean, Vardy
uh,
just can't stop her, can
Vardy cannot stop. Madison has been good. I think Hod, uh, uh, So Brendan Rodgers has been correct in having rested Madison for the Europa League matches and then bringing him on for the Premier League matches, because that's the right way. I feel the league is the priority for Leicester again, and continue to fight for European trophies is something which is uh, not that much of a priority.
I mean, I think Pranay, you can give us a good preview about this one. You guys just played Everton last week, so do you see them winning this one?
Is it again? Will ask on which ground is the match.
It's at King Power, Leicester.
Okay,
It's
so
looking.
see, the thing with Leicester is their home form is very unpredictable. You know, they lost to West Ham, they lost to Fulham
Yeah.
again, they lost to Aston Villa also, I think, right at the end. So it depends which Leicester turns up actually, because if the Brighton Leicester turns up, then it could be a tough match for Everton. But if the
Yeah,
previous Leicesters turn up, it could be unpredictable again. And as for Everton, yeah, they were defensively very good against Chelsea. Abhishek mentioned about Alan; he was back to his best, and
yeah,
Calvert-Lewin is just having an excellent season. He won that penalty very cleverly. You know, he saw there's nobody around, so he just flicked a header basically for himself only, and then Mendy had that rush of blood, and I don't know if it's the Kepa effect which is creeping in, but that was his first real mistake as a Chelsea player. But sticking with Everton, I think Sigurdsson is still a key player for them. You know, I thought with James coming in, I wondered how much game time will Sigurdsson get, but I think with Luka Dean and James out, he is the key set piece taker for them, and he's a good one also. He has a pretty good free kick record also, and good at delivering corners. So it could be a tight
and
game,
Richarlison as
and
well.
hopefully
Richarlison
a good
also
game.
is the. I
Sorry.
think the relationship between Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison is more of like Son and Kane, one
Yeah.
wide left player and one center striker. I
Yes,
think
you're
that's more.
right, because there was a brief period in the league a few weeks ago when Richarlison was missing and Iwobi had to come in, and suddenly just
Right.
Everton's system was in the final third was misfiring. It was not as smooth as it was in the early stages. So you're right, Richarlison is a key player in that system.
Yes, I hope
Yeah.
that someone injures Kane too then. I mean, that will only stop Spurs probably. They don't look sex off. I mean, did you watch a Spurs game by the way?
Against Crystal
No.
Palace,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I saw it in parts.
Yeah.
I saw the opening few minutes when up till the point when Kane scored out of nowhere
Um,
literally,
that was a beautiful
and
goal, man.
I had a feeling actually before the match that Crystal Palace can cause one or two problems and Spurs might falter here, and that was the case in the match. Crystal Palace again, like Fulham, they also deserved their point.
Yeah.
I, in the second half, I
Yeah.
watched and they were really pushing. But the problem for Crystal Palace is their over reliance on a certain Wilfred Zaha.
Yeah. I mean, he
Wilfried
has been
Zaha.
really
Yeah.
good this season in terms of like goals. I think this has been his best season in terms of output already.
Yes, it has, and you can see without Zaha how much Crystal Palace suffer.
Yeah.
And even though Zaha wasn't involved in the goal this time, his presence is really, I think it's motivating for the players.
I mean, I was following that player like Ezzy, if you know.
Yes,
Yeah, he's
I
really
was
good.
Yeah.
impressed with him in the Leeds game. Also, he scored a brilliant free kick when they won 4-1 against Leeds, and he came from I think QPR if I'm not
Yeah, yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Yeah. QPR.
Yeah, so he's really taken the Premier League not by storm, because that's not how but it's been a solid start from him, and he could be a fantasy asset as well. Who knows?
Yeah. What about you, Abhishek? Have you seen the kid?
I didn't see the Tottenham match, but I got up the highlights and not really much to add what to what Pranay said. But Crystal Palace reliance upon Wilfred Zaha. It's an old story and it's been running for seasons now. And the thing is they have kept on to him, and they have managed to not sell him, and they have, otherwise he can be a good asset for any top six club as a secondary wide player, or he could be in any top six
Arsenal,
side.
who knows?
Yeah, I mean, he was begging
Yeah,
for Arsenal move. Yeah, I don't know if you
yeah.
guys see, he posted a story about Arsenal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I think his brother did like just take this guy, and now he has like
Oh,
more open play goal than us in
oh.
the Premier League.
Also, by the way, actually against Spurs, Crystal Palace had Vicente Guaita to thank a lot, because although
Yeah,
he was kind of responsible for the goal which Kane scored,
Yeah, yeah.
he pulled off a couple of really smart reflex saves.
Even the Dyer free kick.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
when Dyer lined up, I
yeah.
thought, no way is Eric
yeah.
Dyer going to score a free kick. But all of a sudden, I was like, oh shit, it could really happen.
So I think any other fixtures you guys are looking forward to this week?
I think we need to keep a tab on Southampton also. They are doing
Yeah.
pretty well. As much as we talk about Leicester, I think we should mention Southampton also. They are also a strong team.
There also.
I'm a really big fan of Che Adams. I really like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
Jay
really
Adams
stepped
and
up.
Danny Ings.
yeah, that's a really good partnership too.
And they
Danny
have
Ings and Watford.
Ward-Prowse in the middle. They have Stuart
Yeah,
Armstrong in the midfield. Then they have Westergaard in defense. So they are a
yeah,
good
yeah.
side.
I think they are currently sitting. Oh, they are
Fifth,
fourth.
fourth,
Yeah,
I think.
fourth. Yeah, above 23 above
And
Chelsea.
last week they became the 11th side, only the 11th side in the Premier League era to reach 1,000 points overall.
Right. Yeah, even like they are 2 points up the top with Liverpool in
Yes.
first side. It's a weird season currently going on.
Yeah,
It is
we
very
should
crazy.
talk about the season also, because 25 points from 12 games is the joint lowest in the Premier League history after for the first place team.
For the first place.
Yes.
But as fans, we can't complain, can we?
No, we can't.
No, certainly not, because it's so
But
unpredictable.
it's so unpredictable, and for neutral fans more so, I would say. For die-hard staunch supporters of one club, they may be wishing for more from their side. But
See,
I
last
think
season Liverpool just ran away with it, literally.
I don't
So
think this time around we don't I don't think we can expect a 97 98 point season for the
yes,
club.
see,
That's true.
already the maximum, I think 12 matches means 36, so 11 points already dropped,
Yeah,
which even
yeah,
so, even if Liverpool or Spurs win all their matches, they'll get to 103, which is not going to happen, obviously.
yeah.
So we can have a like the old days when we had like
Yeah.
80 points
Wha-
as a
What
title win.
what was the like tally of Leicester when they won it? I
Yeah.
think it was pretty low too.
I think it was 80 or 81 points.
78, I
Yeah, yeah,
think,
I think it
something
was
like.
in 70s. It's pretty
No,
low.
no, it was 81, I remember.
Okay, I think we are headed to that type of season only.
Yeah,
Yes,
that type
could
of
be.
season, and maybe that type of winner as well.
Yeah,
Hopefully, I won't mind, if Southampton or Leicester win this
yeah,
season.
yeah. I have to.
Or Spurs, maybe.
No, I would mind
Who
Spurs.
knows?
No, I also wouldn't mind Spurs.
I mean, I don't know what I'm worried about Spurs winning or us relegating. I don't know. We are even. I
Maybe
mean,
both.
yeah, we are blessed that we have Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield United. Like they are really bad, so we won't get relegated. But
I don't think
Yeah,
Arsenal in their entire history have ever been
yeah,
relegated.
yeah, they haven't.
Hmm. Imagine
But
that's at
no,
stake right
no,
now.
no, they have.
I think it was like 1912 or something. It was very. I mean, it's
That's
been weird.
incredible
Like,
record.
yeah, we were like really good at the end of the last season. We were winning, like beating likes of Chelsea, Manchester City. We beat Liverpool in the league. I don't know what's happening.
I think it's the new season effect. Every time the new season just takes over, and then you have all things set reset to zero, and then you just can't get going. And Arsenal have not started get going. So
I mean, he shot himself in the foot too with all those decisions, like not including Ozil, and now he's losing the dressing room with it. I mean, he's very
yeah.
popular guy in the dressing room, so that was going to happen. Yeah, I think that way. Thank you. I'll stop recording.